There comes a moment in every life when the silence grows too loud, when the soul begins to stir, whispering questions you've buried beneath routine, comfort, fear. Is this it? Is this the extent of my power? Did I come here just to survive? No. You were not born to blend in. You were not designed to crawl through existence hoping the world doesn't notice you. You are the fire, not the ash. You are the architect of destiny, not the tenant of circumstance. But to become unstoppable, to access the science of self-mastery and tap into your limitless potential, you must make a decision that most never make. The decision to awaken, not partially, not occasionally, not when it's easy or convenient, but fully, fiercely, permanently. Look at the greats, not with envy, but with clarity. Carnegie wasn't born with steel in his veins. He forged it through vision and audacity. Edison didn't stumble upon life. He became life through 10,000 defeats that didn't kill him. They carved him. Lincoln wasn't a man of luck. He was a man of scars, raised in a log cabin, mocked, doubted, broken, yet unshakable. What separated them from the crowd wasn't luck, talent, or timing. It was the will to master themselves before trying to master the world. You see, the battlefield of life isn't out there. It's not in the market, the economy, or even your competition. The real war is internal. It's between who you are and who you're called to become. Self-mastery is not about control. It's about alignment. Aligning your thoughts with your mission, your habits with your purpose, your emotions with your higher nature. But most people never even begin. They wait. Wait for permission, for validation, for the perfect moment. Understand this. The perfect moment does not exist. Life doesn't give permission slips. It gives tests. And only those who walk into the fire with faith are reborn in power. So how do you begin? First, you must claim dominion over the mind. Your mind is a fertile garden, but it does not care what you plant. Doubt or faith, fear or courage, excuses or execution. Whatever you sow, it will grow. Most people plant weeds, then pray for roses. They feed their minds with gossip, distractions, limitations, then wonder why success avoids them. But your mind is not your enemy. It is your most loyal servant when trained. It will build empires or prisons depending on how you wield it. You must become the gatekeeper. Every thought that enters must serve you or be cast out. You cannot afford to negotiate with negativity. You cannot afford to entertain mediocrity and then expect mastery. Greatness begins where excuses end. You must build belief, not just a hope, but a certainty that burns so hot it incinerates doubt on sight. And belief is not something you wait for. It's something you build through repetition, through movement, through proof. Do the thing you fear. Do it again, and again, and again until fear bows before you. Do you think Muhammad Ali felt unstoppable the first time he stepped into the ring? No. He declared it before he believed it. He told the world, I am the greatest, not as a statement of ego, but as a command to his nervous system, to his destiny. Your identity is not fixed, it's programmable. But you must program it with intention, with precision, with fire. Speak what you seek until you see what you said. And once the mind begins to believe, the fog begins to lift. Clarity is born. Clarity is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Without it, you drift. You wander through life reacting, not creating. You let others write your script and wonder why the story feels wrong. Clarity is when you stop asking for directions and start building your own map. What do you really want? Not what they told you to want. Not what feels safe, but what sets your soul ablaze. Don't shrink your vision to match your current reality. Expand your reality to match your true vision. Every invention, every revolution, every act of genius was once a ridiculous, blurry idea in the mind of someone who refused to stay average. Clarity creates momentum. When you know where you're going, every step has power. You stop wasting energy on distractions, drama, and detours. You move with intention. You speak with purpose. You act with conviction. But clarity is only the beginning. Vision without discipline is fantasy. This is where most people fall. They dream big. Post affirmations, feel inspired for a week, then collapse under the weight of inconsistency. Discipline is the bridge between intention and reality. It is the evidence that your purpose is not a phase, but a commitment. And let me be clear, discipline is not punishment. It is liberation. It is the act of choosing your future over your feelings, choosing purpose over pleasure, mission over mood. Every morning you will be faced with two voices. One will beg for comfort. The other will demand growth. Which one you feed will shape your destiny. Ford didn't invent the assembly line by taking days off to find himself. He built until the world changed. Disney didn't wait for a green light. He created one. After 300 banks said no. Every empire is built brick by brick, day by day, in silence, in sweat, in sacrifice. You will not feel like it every day. You will want to quit. You will crave ease. That is the test. Anyone can act when inspired, but the masters act regardless. That's what makes them unstoppable. Because while the world sleeps, they're sharpening their blade. While others scroll, they sculpt. While others wait, they move. And movement is magic. Action is the antidote to fear. It is how you turn dreams into data and vision into velocity. But it must be bold, decisive, relentless, not perfect, never perfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress. While you're trying to get it right, someone else is getting it done. Take the shot, learn, adjust, repeat. That's how the impossible becomes inevitable. And when the results start to show, do not let ego creep in. Let gratitude anchor you. Gratitude is the guardian of greatness. It reminds you where you came from. It protects you from entitlement. It opens the heart while sharpening the mind. You cannot hate your way to success. You cannot resent the journey and expect to own the destination. Every setback, every closed door, every long night, they were not punishments. They were preparation. Your pain did not come to destroy you. It came to sculpt you. Let that gratitude fuel your fire. When gratitude lives in your bones, you stop cursing the storm and start dancing in the rain. Because now you know, the storm is not your enemy. It is your sharpening stone. Adaptability is the trait of titans. The ones who bend but never break. The ones who pivot while others panic. Life will never unfold in a straight line. It will twist. It will taunt. It will test you. But the greats never complain. They recalculate. They don't abandon the mission. They adjust the method. Look at Darwin's truth. It's not the strongest who survive. It's the most adaptable. And that applies not just to nature, but to your goals, your mindset, your momentum. If the door closes, find a window. If the path disappears, build one. There is always a way forward for the one who refuses to stop moving. And in this chaos, this relentless swirl of setbacks and surprises, you must cling to resilience like breath. Resilience isn't toughness. It's elasticity. It's the ability to bend, to bruise, but to never break. Every time life knocks you down, you rise. Not the same, but stronger. Not the same, but smarter. Because real strength isn't the absence of pain. It's the refusal to be owned by it. Rockefeller once said, "I always try to turn every disaster into an opportunity." That wasn't optimism. That was strategy. Because winners don't just endure pressure. They alchemize it. They take the hits, the losses, the betrayals, and use them to fortify their mission. You think Tesla wasn't crushed under debt? You think Oprah didn't break under rejection? You think Steve Jobs didn't taste failure? They all did. But the difference is they never let failure become identity. They knew failure is feedback. It's not who you are. It's simply data. An instruction manual written in adversity. And that data is sacred. Because the real ones don't just go through pain. They grow through pain. They study it. They extract the blueprint hidden inside it. They know every wound is a lesson, every scar a signal. But to access those signals, you must become a student of life. Learning never ends, not for the hungry, not for the unstoppable. Those who stop learning, stop living. The second you believe you know enough, you've already begun to. Carnegie read hundreds of books after building his fortune. Einstein called imagination more important than knowledge because he knew curiosity is the engine of genius. Be relentless in your quest for wisdom. Study the greats, mimic the masters, and then evolve beyond them. Read not to feel smart, but to become useful. Learn not just for knowledge, but for application. Because knowledge that sits in your head is just potential. It's only when you act on it that it becomes power. And power without purpose, that's the fastest road to destruction. So anchor your learning to meaning. What are you building? Who are you serving? What legacy will your name whisper long after you're gone? Purpose is the engine, the compass, the fuel. Without it, success will feel hollow. Without it, discipline will turn into burnout. Action will feel frantic instead of focused. But when you root into purpose, you become a force of nature. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop forcing and start flowing. Purpose will keep you grounded when the applause comes and will lift you when the silence grows. It's the why behind the work. And if your why is strong enough, the how reveals itself every single time. But let me be clear, your purpose isn't found in a single moment. It's forged in movement. It's revealed in the trenches. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to move, boldly, decisively, daily. Momentum is more valuable than motivation. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be willing. Willing to fail. Willing to grow. Willing to look foolish on your way to becoming fearless. There's a version of you on the other side of all this, the doubt, the delay, the comfort zone. That version is watching you, waiting, cheering, daring you to become who you were always meant to be. But no one's handing you that key. You must earn it. In the quiet moments when no one's watching. In the brutal hours when your body screams to quit. In the lonely nights where it feels like no progress is showing. That's when champions are born. In silence, in darkness, in relentless, thankless repetition. But if you endure, if you persist, if you keep your vision locked and your heart lit with purpose, you will cross a threshold, a line most never reach. And on the other side of that line is limitless potential, the ability to create reality, to wake up each day with the fire of a god and the discipline of a soldier. That is self-mastery. That is the science of becoming unstoppable. And once you taste it just once, you'll never go back. There is a moment in every warrior's journey where the world goes quiet, where the noise fades, where the doubt dissolves, and all that's left is the beat of your own heart and the whisper of your own soul. That's when you realize this was never about proving anything to them. This was always about remembering who you are. That fire you've been searching for outside, it was in you all along. The greatness, not a gift, not a fluke, not a privilege. It's your birthright, but it will remain locked inside you until you decide to claim it, until you demand it from yourself. So many people wait for permission. They wait for applause. They wait for validation. Before they move, before they act, before they believe. But those who become legends, they move without it. They act without applause. They believe in the silence. They don't wait for the light. They become it. Because deep down they know there will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a time when all the signs line up, when fear disappears, when clarity falls from the sky. You create clarity by moving. You create confidence by showing up. You create success by outlasting everyone else who stopped. So if you're looking for that one moment to define you, this is it. Right here, right now, the fork in the road. The decision that separates the average from the awakened. You either rise, or you retreat. You either take control, or stay a prisoner of distraction, doubt and delay. You either step into your calling, or stay numb inside your comfort zone, hoping someday life will hand you more. But life doesn't give more to those who hope. It gives more to those who claim, those who walk with certainty, those who build while others sleep, those who refuse to betray the future for the comfort of now. You were not built for mediocrity. You were not designed to shrink to fit the mold. You were made to break it. You are the wild blueprint, the divine prototype, a once-in-history combination of soul, vision and strength. And the moment you stop running from that truth, everything changes. When you operate from your highest self, time bends, people notice, opportunities multiply. It's not magic, it's alignment. You're no longer chasing outcomes. You're becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts them. Discipline becomes devotion. Action becomes instinct. Vision becomes vibration. This is the level few reach. The level beyond hustle. The level of flow. But reaching this level doesn't happen by accident. It requires relentless self-honesty. You have to look in the mirror and confront every excuse, every lie you've told yourself about what's possible, every limitation you inherited that was never yours to carry. You weren't born to play small. You were born to command mountains. But mountains don't move for those who beg. They move for those who believe. You want to become unstoppable? Then master the most powerful force in the universe. You master your mind. Master your habits. Master your emotions. Master your choices. Because when the inner world is conquered, the outer world obeys. This is what Hill meant when he said, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." The mind is not your enemy. It is your engine. but only if you control the steering wheel. Left unchecked, the mind will keep you safe and small, but trained, focused, directed with ruthless clarity and relentless action, it will bend reality to your will. This is why the average never win, because they never take the time to master them. They're too busy chasing outcomes, numbing fear, blaming others. But the one who masters themselves becomes the one who masters life. Your emotions, they are not problems to fix, they are signals to interpret. Your fears, not enemies to avoid, but doorways to walk through. Your resistance, not weakness, it is proof that you are on the edge of growth. And growth, real growth, is always uncomfortable, because it's the death of who you were and the birth of who you are becoming. But that discomfort, that friction, that inner war, it's not punishment, it's prophecy. It's life asking you, how bad do you want this? Because you don't get to have the dream without the demand. You don't get the crown without the cross. You don't get the peak without the pain. But if you endure, if you persist, if you refuse to break, you become something few ever experience. You become whole. Not flawless, not perfect, but whole, aligned, unshakable, clear. You'll no longer chase motivation. You'll move with conviction. You'll no longer beg for permission. You'll walk in authority. You'll no longer seek shortcuts. You'll trust your path, because you'll know deep in your bones that everything you need is already inside you. Not someday, not after another course, not once someone else believes in you. Now, it's already there. So build the vision, take the leap, become the person your destiny demands, because you were not born to repeat history. You were born to rewrite it. You are the author. You are the architect. You are the answer to your own breakthrough. So rise, not because it's easy, not because it's time, but because it is your duty. You were born with the seed of greatness, but only you can water it. Only you can fight for it. Only you can become it. This is the truth no one tells you. Becoming unstoppable is not about having more. It's about becoming more. And when you do, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not failure, not fate, because you'll have mastered the one thing that matters most, yourself.